one of the most important sport in the country after soccer and rugby, of course. So over there, it is really easy to receive support and recognition from people. For example, whenever I play matches with my team back home, every single time the matches are announced in the newspaper with pictures and a small recap of the match. But here, when I came at Emmanuel College, I saw that tennis was not important at all. And then, for example, here the tennis team does not receive any recognition or support at all to any matches. So, as most of the team is international, for us it is really hard to get people to come because we don't have the family to come like most of the student athletes here. So, this is why I decided to promote this tennis team and to make people come, because here basketball is one of the most famous teams, and everyone talks about it. Whenever there is a match, there's flyers all around campus, and then we don't get to have this. And I know tennis team is not the only sport with this problem, there's a lot. But my project was to help the tennis team to have more recognition. And this is why I decided to do this public relation campaign to help the tennis team to get more people. So for this public relation campaign, I had to go through 4 different steps. I had to identify what was the need, what the problem was, all the solutions that I needed to come up with, and then all the different steps that I did for the process. So the need of this public relation campaign was that this team is not as important as all the other sports, as I said. Basketball, we have flyers everywhere. Volleyball, also we have flyers everywhere. But then whenever we had tennis matches, no one knew that we were playing. And then just our close friends were coming to see us, and we had maybe 10 people to come and cheer for us, which was a big problem for us because we were not used to it, not to have support, because at home we all the time have people that come and see us. So even though we're one of the best programs on campus, people don't know about us. We have really good results. For example, 2 years ago we finished #1 in the conference after the regular season, and no one really knew about it, and we're still not talking about us. So that was kind of disappointing for us after such a big achievement. And so no support and no recognition. The problem, as I said, is that no one knows about us. No one really knows who are the tennis players, where we're from, and what we're actually doing here. And so the school does not promote the matches. So as I said, once again, there's flyers of all the other sports. And then I know that on my freshman year, our schedule was not even on the calendar. All the sports on campus was on the calendar, giving all the match dates, and the tennis team was not even in there. So it was really painful for us because all of us were far from home and then received no support at all. It was kind of tough. And so people were not coming to cheer for us. So for the solutions, I actually came out with a lot of ideas, but I had to filter them because I was not able to do all of them, because first of all, I was alone doing it, and in this small community, not everything was able to work. So I choose to promote the team over social media. I write the post-match article. I was constantly posting news on Instagram or Facebook. I created flyers for the home matches. I posted them everywhere on campus. I organized a showcase that you can see there that I did yesterday, which was kind of to make people aware of who the tennis team was. And I took pictures and videos to put them on the media. And then I also tried to find support from other sports teams on campus. So first, this is the main social media. So I decided to have Instagram as the main social media because our generation, all the students, they are constantly on Instagram. There's also Facebook, but Facebook is for the older generation, for like the outside community and more for the parents. So for me, my focus was more on the social media. And then we managed to have 159 followers, so which is actually really good for the small team that we are here in Emmanuel College, and so everyone could be able to follow us. So this is 2 examples of some posts that I was putting on Instagram. So what I was doing is that before matches, I was putting an Instagram post when we were traveling, and I was also putting news after the matches. I was also posting videos or pictures of practice, for example, when we had rainy days, that showing what we were doing. And so this is a post after 2 matches. So I was putting at least 2 pictures every time that my coach was taking, or Miss Melior was taking, and other students were taking, and I was just gathering them and then putting them in there with a small description of our match. Where did we travel, who did we play, how we did, and then the results. And then we managed to get around 50 likes every single time, which was a good beginning for us. I was also taking care of the post-article matches. So after every single match, I was writing articles for both men and women's team. So what I was doing is that I was gathering all the scores, because I don't know if people know, but in a tennis match in college, we have 9 matches. We have 3 doubles and 6 singles. So there was a lot of content to cover. So every single time I was gathering all the scores of all the single matches, and I was doing a small recap of any of them, and then I was putting all of them in an article. And then I was sending this article to Lance Miller, who's in charge of the sports communication here on campus. And then every single time he was uploading them on the Go EC Lions website, that you can see over there. And then they were getting shared on the Emmanuel Athletic Facebook page, so that people were able to see those articles. For the home matches, I also decided to do flyers, because as I saw that most of the teams had flyers made by the staff, I wanted to do the same. So by my own, I made those flyers. So these are 2 examples. This one was for our first home match that we had. So every single time I was doing a different flyer for the matches, I was printing them, I was posting them all over campus. I was posting them on Instagram, on Facebook also. I was sending the flyers to my teammates, so all of them were posting them on their story. And then I was even giving this poster to Mrs. Westbrook and then to Ms. Biddle, so that they could put it in the announcement and then on the social media pages. As I said, we didn't have a lot of support, and it was hard to make people come to our matches, because even though people could hear that we were playing, tennis is still not really, is not a big sport here in the US, so it was still hard to get people to come. So I decided to contact the swim coach, which is Coach Gilchrist, and then I asked him to have kind of like an agreement. So as their team is the swim team is also mostly composed of international students, I realized that they had the same problem as us. They don't have a lot of support. So I offered him that if they could come to one of our match, and then when they will be in season, we will come to see one of their meet. And he accepted right away, and he did even more. He asked me information about every single player, about their name and where they were from, and then he asked his swimmers to do posters for every single one of us. And so all of us players, we had a customized poster of, for us with our flag, or with a little encouragement quote. And so that was really nice to have it. And then this especially came for one of our toughest match, which was Mount Olive University. And then thanks to their support, the men's team were able to do the big upset of the year by defeating the number 1 in the conference, while the boys were only ranked number 6 in the conference. So it helped them a lot, and they were really happy to have all the support and posters. We also got the chance to have the support from the wrestling team, because probably everyone knows that the wrestling team is one of the best teams that shows support for every single athletic event. And so the fact that they came was really cool to have them, because they also have the same problem. Wrestling is not really developed, not a lot of people come to see them. And for their women's team, they also come, most of them come from the other side of the country, so they're kind of like us, they're really far from home, and it's hard for them to get support. So we really like to have them over there. I also took pictures on the court. I showed up in practice, and then I took pictures of all the players, so that all of them, everyone loved to have pictures of them when they play tennis. And also I could use this picture first for my showcase, and also to put them on the social media, and then to show people who these players really were. So as I said about my showcase, so I decided to do a showcase to make people aware of who we are, who is in the tennis team, where they're from, what they're studying, how old they are. Because every single step that I did over the semester was to promote the tennis team. But then I really wanted to finish this in a good way by putting a face on all these names. So I created this showcase. So I first did the flyer over there. So I printed this flyer, and then I also gave them to Miss Westbrook, to Miss Biddles. They shared it, and then Dr. Goins helped me, because she asked her students to come and show me support, and they will get some extra credits. And then I actually have a lot of people that showed up. So the goal, so I had one poster board for the women's team, so I put all the lineup, I put their name, their age, in which grade they are, their major, and where they're from, and I put pictures of them. And I did exactly the same for the men's team. I took pictures of them, and I put a little bio about them, and then their lineup, their singles and doubles, because we played both. And so it didn't take me a lot of time to do it, but I really wanted to do it to make people aware of who really were. So to make people come, I also decided to give them free food, because whenever there is free food, people is always going to come, because we're all students, so whenever we see something free, we just go for it. So I made those brownies, and then yesterday people were able to come and go. They didn't even have to talk, they could just stay 5 minutes, getting some brownies, going over through those cardboard, and then a lot of people actually asked me questions of what I was doing, what was my project, why I was doing it, and they actually showed a bit of interest about the tennis team, which was really good, and I liked it a lot to answer. And then I was not expecting to have that many people, but I had about 40 to 45 people that showed up, and I was not expecting it at all. I was maybe expecting like 10 people, but I had way more, and it was really cool to have these people coming to see it. So I show you the need of my PR campaign, the fact that people do not know who we were. What was the problem is that tennis doesn't get enough support as all the other sports. I came up with solutions. Even though I had a lot of ideas, I had to filter everything to make things true. And then I show you all the different steps of my process. So to finish with the final thought, honest communication is built on truth and integrity and upon respect of the one for the other. And it's from Benjamin Emails. Is there any questions? Yes. One of you.
What's the plan? Are you hoping to do something similar to this continuing next semester?
Next semester I'm going to do a master in communication, and then yes, I want to be in public relations later. So this is also why I did this project, because I really want to do this later. Yes.
Did you see the same amount of support from people coming out physically as you did on social media? Like, were they the ones liking your posts most, things like that?
We had a lot of likes from our family, of course, and then people from home. But yes, we also had like more people that came. For example, we started the year, let's say, with 10 people showing up to our matches. And then at the middle of the season, sometimes the bleachers were full, like, because we had the teams coming, we had other students coming. So yeah, it actually helped, because I was working around campus sometimes, and people actually knew we had the match. Like, oh, you're playing today, like, good luck today, I hope it goes well. And this never happened before, like, people had no idea. Yeah, yes.
I was going to say, are you passing the page down to someone once you graduate?
I hope there is. We actually, in the women's team, we're 4 people to graduate, and so there is 4 freshmen and then 2 juniors left. So I hope that the juniors will take it next. Yes.
Okay, a question about your step that you're calling the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Is the problem that was part of the problem that there simply was, I don't know, no one covering it to send the information to the athletic department, or was that happening and the workflow in our athletic department was not getting the information out? Because I know they're understaffed to be able to cover everything. So
I know that before I started this, my coach was sending a lot of information. He was actually the one writing the articles before, and then every time he was doing a lot, but it was just like they were not covering like us. But they had the information, like they had everything. Unfortunately.
What do you like most about doing this?
It's kind of to help people. So like to make people see who these players are, and then put a picture on their face, and then because it's always good to have recognition. So I wanted to give this to my teammates because we all deserve this.
Thanks, Monty. Okay, our next presenter is Jake.